There's a subtle yet fascinating process unfolding within your body at this very moment, intricately linked to an activity you've mastered since around your first birthday: walking. You've likely taken millions, perhaps even tens of millions, of steps throughout your life. Consequently, most people assume that walking is so straightforward, automatic, and fundamentally human that there's nothing more to learn about it. However, here's a crucial insight that few acknowledge. After the age of 50, the manner in which you walk, not merely the act of walking, but its style, begins to influence your biology in surprisingly significant ways. A few pervasive habits, seemingly harmless, can quietly undermine the bodily systems you rely on daily. Bear with me, because our exploration isn't meant to instill fear or impose restrictions. Rather, it aims for understanding. Once you comprehend the internal workings of your body during a walk, your perception of daily steps will be forever altered. Let's begin at the foundation. Many fail to recognize that walking after 50 constitutes a distinct biological event compared to walking at 25. This isn't due to bodily dysfunction, quite the opposite. Your body is demonstrating remarkable intelligence through adaptation. Following 5 decades of life, your hormonal landscape has transformed. Muscle fiber composition has changed. Your cardiovascular system's rhythms have become finely tuned, and your metabolism has recalibrated around new priorities. All these shifts mean that the same walk you performed at 30 elicits a different internal response at 55. Identical shoes, identical street, yet a completely different biochemistry. Consider this important statistic. After 50, without deliberate effort to maintain it, the body can shed between 3% and 8% of muscle mass per decade. Scientists call this sarcopenia, but don't let the term intimidate you. Think of it this way. Imagine your body as a savings account. Every time you move effectively, you're making a deposit. Conversely, prolonged inactivity or movement patterns that don't challenge your muscles result in a slow, silent withdrawal. When performed correctly, walking is one of the most potent deposits you can make. Yet, certain common walking errors are withdrawals you might not even realize you're incurring. Mistake number 1. Consistently walking too slowly. This often comes as a surprise. Walking is gentle, right? So, logically, slower should be safer. The reality is this. When you maintain a perpetually slow pace, what researchers sometimes term a stroll, your cardiovascular system barely engages, your heart rate remains low, your muscles aren't significantly challenged, and your metabolism, actively seeking reasons to remain efficient, doesn't receive the necessary signal. Picture an engine constantly idling. It runs, but never truly warms up. Over time, that engine's performance declines. After 50, your mitochondria, the tiny energy factories within your cells, specifically respond to intensity. Even brief periods of slightly brisker walking signal your cells to stay efficient, stay active, keep producing energy. This signal is powerful, and a slow shuffle, regardless of duration, simply doesn't activate it. The solution isn't to sprint, it's merely to add intent. Walk as if you're slightly pressed for time. Gently push into that zone of mild exertion. Your cardiovascular system will reap the benefits. Mistake number 2, neglecting a warm-up. Envision your muscles first thing in the morning or after extended sitting. They resemble cold clay, stiff, somewhat resistant, not yet primed for full movement. Your joints contain less synovial fluid, the body's natural lubricant that cushions cartilage and facilitates smooth motion. When you immediately launch into a walk without any preparation, you're demanding that cold clay stretch and bend instantly. After 50, this becomes more critical because the body's natural warm-up response, the process of increasing blood flow to muscles and fluid to joints, takes slightly longer than it once did. Not dramatically longer, but enough that bypassing it heightens the risk of minor injuries, persistent stiffness, and inflammation that silently accumulates over weeks and months. A 5-minute slow, deliberate warm-up walk before hitting your stride is not wasted time. It's precisely when some of your body's most protective chemical processes are activated. Mistake number 3. Always walking on the same flat surface. This is a subtle yet fascinating point once you grasp its internal implications. When you consistently walk on perfectly flat, predictable terrain, a treadmill, a smooth path, the same sidewalk daily, you're stabilizing muscles in the feet, ankles, hips, and core gradually disengage. They aren't required to react to variations, so they become dormant. Consequently, over time, your balance slowly erodes. Here's the biological explanation. Your proprioceptive system, your body's internal GPS that senses its position in space, relies on continuously varied input from your feet and joints. When this input becomes repetitive and predictable, the system's acuity diminishes. It's akin to a compass never challenged to find north. It still functions, but not optimally. After 50, proprioception is one of your most valuable physical assets. Falls and subsequent injuries are a leading cause of health decline in older adults. The single most effective way to safeguard your balance is to regularly challenge it. Uneven terrain, gentle inclines, grass, gravel paths, or even slight variations in surface send thousands of minute recalibration signals to your nervous system with every step. Mistake number 4. Holding your breath or breathing too shallowly. Most people don't consciously think about breathing during a walk. It simply happens. However, this is where it gets interesting. When you breathe shallowly during a walk, short, chest-level breaths, your body doesn't achieve its full potential for oxygen exchange. Your diaphragm, which is indeed a muscle, remains underutilized. Furthermore, your autonomic nervous system, which balances your stress response and recovery response, doesn't transition into the parasympathetic mode, the calm, restorative state that walking is actually designed to promote. Deep, rhythmic breathing during a walk activates your vagus nerve, that extensive meandering nerve connecting your brain to your heart, lungs, and gut. When stimulated through slow, full breathing, it lowers cortisol, improves heart rate variability, and sends a gentle signal of safety throughout your entire body. Walking with deep, intentional breath isn't just beneficial for your lungs, it's therapeutic for your nervous system. Let's continue, as the next 3 mistakes are approaches most people have genuinely never encountered before. Mistake number 5. Walking without any resistance or load. This requires some context, as it's not about carrying heavy weights or converting your morning walk into a gym session. It's about understanding the impact on your bones and muscles when walking remains entirely unloaded, according to Quiet Science. Your bones are living tissue. They respond to mechanical stress. When force is applied to them through impact, through muscle contraction, or through the added challenge of even mild resistance, they adapt. They increase density and reinforce themselves along lines of pressure. This process is called mechanotransduction. Your bone cells, osteocytes, literally sense the load placed on your skeleton and dispatch signals to build more bone where it's needed. After 50, particularly for women post-menopause, but also for men as testosterone gradually declines, bone density becomes paramount to protect. Osteoporosis doesn't manifest with symptoms. It develops silently, and by the time it's detected, years of gradual loss have already occurred. Walking on flat ground at a consistent pace daily provides some benefit, but it doesn't furnish sufficient mechanical load to fully stimulate bone remodeling. Small additions, a gentle incline, light wrist weights, a slightly weighted vest, or simply incorporating uphill sections completely alter the internal message your bones receive. Consider it this way. If your skeleton is a building, flat walking maintains the paint, while load-bearing challenges repair the foundation. Mistake number 6. Walking in incorrect shoes or shoes with excessive cushioning. This point might seem counterintuitive, especially given how much walking shoe marketing emphasizes that more cushioning equates to more protection. However, emerging research indicates otherwise. Highly cushioned shoes, while offering short-term comfort, can actually diminish the sensory feedback your feet transmit to your brain. Recall proprioception, that internal GPS system we discussed? Your feet are one of its primary sensors. The soles of your feet are covered in nerve endings, constantly interpreting texture, pressure, and surface information, sending it upward through your spine to your brain. When thick cushioning insulates your foot from the ground, that signal is muffled. Your gait, the way your entire body moves with each step, subtly adjusts to compensate. Your ankles may stiffen, your stride length might shorten, and your posture could shift in ways that impose slow, repetitive stress on your knees, hips, and lower back. After 50, gait efficiency is profoundly linked to joint health. A slightly more minimalist shoe, or one that permits some natural ground feel, encourages your foot to move as it was naturally designed, landing midfoot rather than striking heavily on the heel, allowing the arch to flex and absorb impact, and keeping the ankle joints active and mobile. This isn't advocating for walking barefoot on concrete, it's about making thoughtful choices. Opt for footwear that safeguards your feet without hindering their innate connection with the ground. The seventh common mistake involves walking while experiencing mental stress. This might seem like the most unexpected point, and it's genuinely one of the least discussed aspects of human locomotion. Walking offers remarkable therapeutic benefits, but only when your nervous system is able to facilitate healing. Here's a breakdown of what occurs when you walk under duress. If you're rushing, preoccupied with your schedule, checking messages, or consumed by inner turmoil, your sympathetic nervous system, responsible for crisis response, remains active. Cortisol levels stay elevated, your muscles maintain a subtle tension, digestion slows down, and your immune response is suppressed. Consequently, while the walk provides some physical advantages, it fails to deliver the neurological rejuvenation it's capable of. Contrast this with the effects of a serene, device-free walk, where you observe nature and breathe slowly. Within minutes, your brain begins producing something remarkable. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, starts to increase. Scientists often refer to it as fertilizer for the brain because it supports memory, mood, learning, and the integrity of neural connections. Simultaneously, cortisol levels decrease, and serotonin gently rises. Your hippocampus, the brain region most susceptible to the long-term effects of stress and aging, receives a powerful infusion of nourishment. The walk itself covers the same distance and number of steps, but the internal biochemistry during a calm walk is profoundly different from that of a stressed one. After the age of 50, walking becomes more than just exercise. It transforms into one of your most accessible neurological interventions. Envision your body as a sophisticated smart home system. When functioning optimally, lights adjust automatically, temperature remains perfect, and doors lock themselves. The system is responsive, intelligent, and adaptable. Now, imagine this system running with 7 minor background errors. None are system crashing, nor do they feel dramatic in the moment. However, over time, the lights flicker, the temperature becomes slightly too warm, and doors respond more sluggishly. This scenario illustrates these 7 walking mistakes. They aren't catastrophic or even noticeable daily, but over months and years, they subtly diminish the system's efficiency. The wonderful news is that rectifying a background error doesn't demand a full system reboot. It merely requires awareness, a minor adjustment here, or a new habit there, and your body, the system, responds. It always does. Let's synthesize this information. As understanding these mistakes is only part of the solution, the other half lies in comprehending why your body responds so effectively when you correct them. After 50, your body enters what biologists sometimes call a more sensitive phase of adaptation. Hormonal shifts, such as declining estrogen, lower testosterone, and altered insulin sensitivity, mean your body is now more acutely responsive to the quality, not just the quantity, of your lifestyle inputs. In your 20s, the body was remarkably forgiving. You could endure poor sleep, inconsistent eating, or weeks without exercise and recover with minimal repercussions. The hormonal environment of youth provides a buffer, absorbing and compensating. After 50, this buffer thins. Your body hasn't stopped adapting. In fact, it has become more sensitive, more responsive, and more ready to transform based on what you consistently provide. Consider this not as frailty, but as precision. Inputs matter more now, meaning the right inputs yield better results than ever before. Walking thoughtfully is one of the most precise inputs you can offer your biology. Let's revisit each mistake one final time, but now through the lens of what your body truly desires. When you walk with purpose and a bit more vigor, you're sending activation signals to mitochondria that are ready to produce energy more efficiently. By warming up first, you allow synovial fluid to distribute, muscles to prepare, and joints to move through their full range before bearing your full weight. Walking on varied terrain sends thousands of recalibration signals to a proprioceptive system actively working to protect your balance and coordination. Deep, rhythmic breathing directly stimulates the vagus nerve, one of your body's most powerful self-regulation systems, thereby shifting your nervous system toward restoration. Adding even a mild load or incline communicates directly with your bones in the only language they truly understand, mechanical pressure, and they respond by strengthening themselves. Choosing footwear that allows some natural ground feedback preserves the sensory intelligence of your feet, a system that has guided you through the world since you were a child. And when you walk calmly, mindfully, and unhurriedly, you provide your brain with the neurological conditions it needs to grow, repair, and regulate mood, memory, and resilience. None of this necessitates a complete overhaul of your routine. The science of walking after 50 isn't about accumulating more steps, covering longer distances, or achieving faster times. It's about the quality of the dialogue between your movement and your biology. A 20-minute walk performed with awareness, proper breathing, and intention delivers more benefits to your body than a 40-minute aimless shuffle done on autopilot while engrossed in your phone. This truth is rarely articulated with the gravity it deserves, because walking appears so ordinary, so unremarkable, yet internally, it is anything but. Each time your foot purposefully meets the ground, cascades of biochemical events unfold. Hormones shift, nerves fire, blood vessels dilate, bone cells receive signals, neurons connect, your heart finds its rhythm, and your brain begins to quiet. You are not merely moving from one place to another. You are communicating with one of the most sophisticated biological systems on this planet, your own body, and it listens to every single step. Here's my key takeaway for you. After 50, your body isn't declining, it's recalibrating. It's becoming more precise, more discerning of quality, and more responsive to consistency. When you provide it with the correct inputs, the right walk, the right breath, the right surface, the right mental state, it responds with everything it has. That's not insignificant. That's biology working in your favor. So, the next time you step outside for a walk, pause briefly before you begin. Take one slow, deep breath. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Gaze at something in the distance. Relax your shoulders. Then, walk as though you know precisely what's happening within you, because now you do. What aspects of this surprised you most? Was it the breathing, the footwear, or perhaps the idea that your mental state during a walk directly alters your brain chemistry? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If this perspective encouraged you to view your body differently, please tap like. It genuinely helps this type of calm, science-based content reach more people who can benefit from it. Subscribe if you appreciate understanding the quiet, brilliant processes occurring inside your body, as that's exactly what we explore here. In our next video, we'll delve into something most people have never heard explained. What specifically happens to your metabolism in the first 20 minutes after waking up? And the one morning habit that either accelerates or subtly hinders your body's entire energy system for the rest of the day. You won't want to miss a thing.
This video is for educational purposes only and isn't medical advice. If you have any medical conditions or take prescription medications, please talk to your doctor before making any changes.